at her birthday dinner. My girlfriend had just enough to drink to let her real feelings slip. She clinked her glass, stood up with a smile, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "This is my boyfriend. He pays for everything, showers me with gifts, follows me around like a puppy, and still thinks I'm actually in love with him." Laughter broke out around the table. Not everyone laughed, but enough did. When I got up, she looked at me with a smirk and said, "Don't be so sensitive. You'll come crawling back like always." I didn't say a word, just grabbed my jacket and walked out. This morning, her mother came to my door, pleading with me to call Jennifer. I didn't let her in. People who know me would instantly recognize this story, so I might as well tell it myself. Some men discover betrayal slowly. Suspicious messages, a hint of perfume that isn't hers, a quiet shift in behavior. Others never find out. Me? I got the broadcast version, with an audience. You couldn't write a better scene for TV if you tried. I'm 38. My name's Reed. I've been with Jennifer, 34, for 3 years. I'm a chef. I own a modest but growing restaurant. It's not glamorous, but it's mine. After years of working brutal hours and pouring every cent I had into the place, it's finally paying off. Booked solid on weekends, a loyal crowd of regulars. I live a straightforward life. I come home with burns on my arms, smelling like garlic and smoke, and sleep like I've been dropped into a coma. That life worked for me. Jennifer is an architect. She works for a top-tier firm, always looks polished, and has this magnetic presence when she walks into a room. The kind of woman who seems out of reach. I met her at my friend's wedding and couldn't believe it when she gave me her number. After 3 dates, I was in deep. Within 3 months, she had a key to my place. Looking back now, I realize I should have seen it. She never fully moved in, always kept her own apartment, said she needed it for space to work late or unwind. I respected that. I was even paying her rent without thinking much of it. Love makes you do foolish things. Her birthday was last weekend. I'd spent weeks setting it up, rented a private room at a Nenzo's, her favorite. Not mine. Could have easily hosted at my restaurant, but she said that blurred the lines between work and personal. I planned everything down to the last detail. Got her the gold-dusted cake she loved. Invited her circle, around 20 people. Easily dropped $3,000. But when you care about someone, that's what you do, right? Dinner was going well at first. Everyone was laughing. The wine was flowing. She'd been sipping Aperol spritzes since we arrived. Not drunk, but definitely buzzed. I was seated to her right. Her sister, friend from work, a few guys she knew from yoga, old college pals. Everyone was there. When it came time for toast, her best friend Jade started with a spring break story. Then I said a few simple words about how lucky I felt to be with Jennifer, how I was looking forward to more birthdays together. People raised their glasses, smiled. Then Jennifer stood up. I thought she'd say thank you. Instead, she turned the spotlight on me with a strange smile and said, "This is my boyfriend, Reed." She squeezed my shoulder, not affectionately, more like she was proving a point. He pays the bills, buys the gifts, follows me around like a dog. Then she looked around and added, "And he still thinks I'm actually in love with him." A few seconds of silence, then laughter. Her friends found it hilarious. Her sister looked horrified. I must have looked stunned because Jennifer rolled her eyes and said, "Oh my God, it was a joke." But the way she said it, cold, like I was stupid for not laughing along. I folded my napkin, stood up, and quietly said I was heading home. She looked annoyed, like I was overreacting. "Where you going?" she asked. I didn't answer, just walked out, heart pounding, face burning. When she shouted after me, "You know you'll come crawling back," it hit harder than anything she'd said before. I drove home in silence. No music, no calls, just my thoughts. And I realized something on that drive. I wasn't even shocked. Somewhere deep down, I think I always knew this wasn't love. I just didn't want to admit it. When I got home, I poured a drink and sat outside, staring into the dark. Every memory from the past 3 years felt like it had been rewritten. Her digs about my rough hands, how I smell like work, her reluctance to introduce me to certain people, How she'd roll her eyes when I talked about the restaurant. The jokes about trading up. The late nights that never added up. I wasn't a fool. I knew she liked the comfort I gave her, the money, the status. I just hoped maybe that would turn into something deeper. What a fool's hope. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing that night. First angry texts accusing me of ruining her birthday, then excuses. It was just a joke. Eventually, please come back. I didn't block her, just turned off notifications. I wanted the record, just in case. By Sunday morning, I knew what I needed to do. I gathered everything she had in my house, her clothes, makeup, shoes, the expensive skincare, the exercise bike she used twice, and boxed it all up. Took 3 hours. I left her house key on top of one box. Then I drove it all to her apartment. I still had a key. She gave it to me a year in, and I'd used it plenty of times. I let myself in, left the boxes neatly stacked in her living room, and wrote a note. Consider this me not crawling back. Your rent's covered through the end of the month. After that, you're on your own. I left the note on top along with her key and walked out. Later that day, she found it. I know because she sent me a photo of the boxes with the message. Really? This is how you're handling it? Then came the nonstop texts and phone calls. I didn't answer. Instead, I called my lawyer, had him draft a formal letter cutting any financial ties, called my bank, remove her from the credit cards, change all the passwords to the streaming accounts. I won't lie. Sunday night was hard. I've always been the dependable one, the guy who shows up, takes care of things. Ending a relationship, even one built on lies, felt like giving up, like failure. But every hour that passed, the weight started to lift. I hesitated for a moment, hearing her voice echo in my head. You'll come crawling back. You always do. Like hell I would. That Monday morning, I went to work like usual. I threw myself into prep, working out the menu, organizing schedules, and making sure everything was in place. When I told my sous chef Marcus what had happened, he just nodded and said, "She never deserved you, boss." That was it. No drama, no pity, just quiet understanding and moving forward. That's why I've always preferred kitchen people. There's a blunt honesty in the way they move through the world, and I respect it. That night, Jennifer started posting online stuff about how someone was having a midlife crisis and tossing aside the best thing that ever happened to him. Her friends chimed in, calling me toxic and childish. I blocked them all. I kept her number unblocked, though not to respond, just to keep a record of what she was saying. Tuesday followed a similar pattern, except now she started using people we both knew to pass messages. Chris, a buddy of mine, texted, "Jennifer's really torn up. Maybe just hear her out." I explained the situation. He didn't reply after that. Then Wednesday brought something unexpected. I was getting ready for work when I heard a knock at the door. It was Susan, Jennifer's mother, standing there looking like she hadn't slept in days. She had always treated me well, always kind, always supportive. She once told me my beef bourguignon was the best she'd ever had. Seeing her like that shook me. "Reed," she said, voice trembling, "please just call Jennifer. She hasn't eaten in 2 days. She's not okay." I invited her in, made some coffee, and calmly told her what had really happened at the birthday dinner. Her expression dropped. She said Jennifer told her I had just walked out without explanation, acting cold and distant for weeks. I wasn't shocked. Jennifer had a way of bending the truth to suit her. "Susan," I said, "I cared about Jennifer. Maybe I still do. But I can't be with someone who disrespects me, who humiliates me in front of her friends and expects me to come crawling back." Susan just nodded after a moment. "I understand. I raise her better than this. I'm sorry, Reed." She hugged me tightly at the door before leaving. Watching her drive away, I felt something lift. Even if Jennifer never admits what she did, at least someone in her family knows the truth now. It's Wednesday evening. All day, Jennifer's been ramping things up. Her sister called my brother. Her yoga instructor emailed Marcus. And, according to my security camera, installed after break-in last year, she drove past my house twice. I haven't replied to anyone. The silence feels like power. For the first time in a long while, I feel grounded. I've been sitting here thinking about dignity, about self-respect, about the line between being dependable and being taken for granted. I confused those things for too long. Never again. To anyone out there who's been in my shoes, who's given until they're empty, who's accepted crumbs like they were blessings, I hope you find the strength to walk. It's brutal at first, but there's peace on the other side. Believe me. As for what comes next, who knows? Maybe more Jennifer's flying monkeys, maybe peace. But this much I know, I'm not going back. Not today. Not ever. 3 days later, not much has changed, except Jennifer's strategy. Now she's trying remorse. Yesterday, she sent a handwritten letter by courier. Who even does that? I read it. She said she started therapy, blames her behavior on unresolved childhood trauma. That might be true, but it's not mine to fix. A lot of people have asked if I protected myself financially. Yes. My lawyer sent her an official letter ending all support. The apartment lease is in her name. I was covering it voluntarily, but no more. The car is mine. She has her own. I've kept records of everything, just in case she tries to claim we were common law or something equally messy. Her sister, Chloe, actually reached out to apologize, said she was embarrassed by what happened, and admitted she'd been warning Jennifer for years that she was treating me terribly. Nice to know someone around her has a conscience. And for those asking about revenge, living well is my plan. I've started working out again, reconnecting with friends, and even enrolled in a specialty pastry course I've been putting off. Funny what you can do with an extra $3,000 a month. Money I used to spend on Jennifer. 2 weeks later, things have finally settled. I'm ready to move forward. The biggest surprise came when Susan invited me to lunch last weekend. I was hesitant, but I went. She apologized again, and then told me something I didn't know. Jennifer has a pattern. Her last 3 relationships ended the same way. She latched on to successful men, drained them, and acted shocked when they left. I love my daughter, Susan said, but she needs help I can't give her. She's been urging Jennifer to get therapy for years. That letter? Just another manipulation. Since Susan stepped in, Jennifer's gone silent. According to her mom, she's now telling people she had to leave me because I was emotionally unavailable and damaging to her mental health. Classic. Let her spin it however she wants. I'm done caring. Someone online said I should have called her out at the dinner instead of walking away. Maybe. But for me, dignity meant not creating a scene. It meant choosing not to engage. I walked because it was the only way that felt right. Now, I've been on 2 dates with someone I met at pastry class. We're taking it slow. She asks about my day and actually listens. It's a small thing, but after years of feeling invisible, it means everything. The best part? I sleep better. No more walking on eggshells. No more stressing over my bank account. No more pretending to be someone. I'm not just to keep someone else happy. Some people have called me a king for how I handled this. I don't know about that. I'm just someone who finally drew the line and stuck to it. If that makes me royalty, then fine, I'll wear the crown. Thanks to everyone who supported me. It meant more than I can say.